and welcome to the Growth Advantage podcast. I would like to introduce you today to Sachin from the London School of Digital Business. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for having me here. And audience, let's have some chat and try to gather something insightful today. I'll try my best.
That's great. I'm really looking forward to speaking to you, sounding so enthusiastic, so that's really nice. I'd love, first of all, to give you the opportunity to tell us a bit about your business and the role that you play within it.
Thank you. London School of Digital Business, and as the name suggests, is a training organization. But let me start by talking about our services division, which takes on the contracts for digital marketing, software development, and mobile app development.
Right.
And so that's, pure tech kind of company, and the marketing side as well. These mentors for our students are the experts who are actually doing the projects. And
Right.
that's how I now go to the learners. We have learners from about 37 countries. And the mission vision of this company is to make an impact using education as the tool. And we set out with a vision to create global enterprises with worldwide workforce. And with that heavy statement, let me try to make it more practical and something that we all understand is we want to stop this migration from villages to towns to metros to the best cities in the world, and people want to travel and live in London and Paris and New York. Stop all this immigration and migration by creating employment for the people wherever they are, and they could work remotely with the company wherever it might be. And so I say I am a global citizen, and
Right.
I actually want to make it happen for lots of people who are not so privileged with the opportunities that we get in some of the developed countries for employment as well as learning. So that's what we are. And I'm the director at London School of Digital Business.
Brilliant. That sounds like a really inspirational vision, and I'd love to hear more about it. Obviously, you're delivering training and learning and development. What would you say are the main reasons that traditional learning methods perhaps fail in this modern workforce?
Yeah, change is the only constant thing, as we say. So anything traditional is not bad or wrong, but I think we have to keep upgrading. And I would quote probably 5, 6 reasons why these traditional methods would probably not be fit for today's modern works places. Whether we're talking about the training in the universities or whether we're talking about training in the corporate world, I'll try to take both the context. So let's say the first point I want to try to make is one size fits all kind of trainings. So these are generic trainings. This is a subject, this is the material, sorry, and I'll give you a very typical example of somebody joins this big corporate company and they have a standard onboarding training for a week.
Right.
Now, this fantastic girl, Jessica, she joins this company. She is excited to dive in, but then she's faced with this 1 week training. She finds 90% of the content not relevant, and she's already feeling unseen and unchallenged. So that's one of the areas we have to see how we could probably design training which is more involving. Well,
Yes.
it said, you tell me, I will forget. You teach me, I may remember.
Yeah.
But if you involve me, I learn. And I think
Right.
the learning needs to be words. So that's my first take about the trainings overall and where we could probably make a change. Uh, the second one is, and I'll try to go a little faster here now, the static content or outdated content. So again,
Right.
it's very easy to understand. Marketing training for a retailer um, happened in 2000. And today he's saying, okay, these are the customer service rules. Well, hang on, man. Uh, Today, customers want instant gratification. They want quick online solutions. And if we are not adopting to the newer way of doing things, then again, we're going to be very irrelevant. Um, uh, Jeff Bezos said, uh, what is dangerous is if it is not evolving. And I think that's where we have to evolve the training. Again, hence the traditional training needs to keep evolving to make it fit for today's world.
I totally agree. And in that vein, what current trends are you're seeing in the market now that people are adopting to improve their training that they're offering?
I think uh, that's, again, I'll probably touch the third and fourth point and try to answer yours as well,
Sure.
is trying to make it more practical, trying to make it more action oriented. Um, Tony Robbins says that, that we all heard knowledge is power, and the training and educational sector, it's something that everybody says. But Tony Robbins says uh, knowledge is not power, action is. So you take the knowledge, uh, and only if you take action, it is going to be giving you the power. So
Very true.
the point we're trying to make here is, are you practicing? And to the corporate world, let me try to make sense here. If we undergo a workshop for negotiations, and we had a fantastic interactive session, not the traditional methods of lecturing, I got everything, I have my notes, but I don't get the opportunity to negotiate for next 3 months. And that's where, if I'm not getting into the action, my training is wasted. So to answer your point, the learning needs to be hands-on, practical. And that's where I said we have a services division and we have a training division in the same company.
Right.
You don't have to bridge the gap between the industry and the education, because London School of Digital Business, we are both. In the
Yeah.
same way, I think if the corporates ensure that whatever your training is actually given, I mean, those people are given opportunity to actually practice it.
Right. Yes. And it's all about the application, as you say, isn't it?
Yep.
You can absorb as much information as you want, but unless you learn how to apply it and do that effectively, then it's useless, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. Otherwise, there's so many techniques that I mean, obviously, you and your colleagues are the masters when it comes to, businesses and helping businesses. I think it has all come because of your experience. And
Yeah.
what's your experience? It's actually an action. It's an application of whatever you have learned through the books, without the books. And that's what we're saying is, if you want to fast track, and if you don't want to be like you and me with, kind of 30 years of experience, and we're now talking some, uh, you know, uh, something that's probably we think is clever stuff. Think if people can practice things in 3 to 5 years of their initial careers, they could be doing a lot better than what I did when I was having 5 years of experience. It's all about, practicing things.
Yes, totally. I agree. There's so much opportunity out there now to absorb and learn such a vast array of information, but it's that application that's key, and sort of learning those skills to know what to do with it once you've got it.
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
and
Also,
within,
people tend to ignore when it comes to trainings, tend to ignore a couple of areas. One is definitely the soft skills, and second is the measurement. So training is given, and there are a lot of these static trainings where you run through a workshop, people have fantastic notes, you get the certificates, done, right? But then how do you measure? What is the effectiveness of that training? If you're not able to measure, then you can't improve it.
yes, because I guess that there is a risk that some people can just see it as a tick box exercise. I've done that training now, I've completed it, and then I'm not going to ever use it or revisit it again. And that's probably if it's not delivered well or structured well, and doesn't give them the value that they can then go away and use in their careers.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree to that point, and that's where I see that. Although I'm into the education sector now, but I'm from the real world industry, I can say that people who want to make big in their careers, uh, everybody works hard, but what they need is opportunity to actually leverage whatever they have learned or practiced.
Yes.
Uh, and I think that's where I was saying, equal opportunity for people outside UK, and there's so many countries that people who are ready to work hard. Um, they are good when it comes to communications and English as well.
Mhm.
But I think what they need is an opportunity to apply their knowledge.
Yes, definitely. I can totally
Where
relate to that.
I see lots of businesses in the UK and Europe as well, because we have some connections happening in European countries. Now, lots of these businesses are helping us to onboard or trial these learners from 37 different countries. Well, there are African countries, Asian countries, and when these businesses are showing that empathy, I think it fills my heart that they are actually giving all those learners an opportunity to at least trial. And they do well, fantastic. They are the remote workers for us here in the UK, which is great.
That's amazing. That global scope. It's sort of breaking down barriers and making sort of the global space so much smaller, where everyone can communicate and work for each other across the globe. And that's
Yeah,
really good to hear
and
you're supporting that.
everybody doesn't need to fly to London. We're crowded already. Sorry. But you can still work together.
Of course, and that's great to hear. That you're sort of an advocate for that. Within the industry as a whole, within your sector, what are the sort of current market trends that you're seeing? And are there any issues being faced by the industry at the moment?
Um, Issues, I think there are too many options right now for
Right.
learners. There are too many options, and they sometimes don't know what's right for them. And as you just said, people do it for the tick in the box, right?
Yes.
Whether it's a corporate training or it's a personal choice. I want to learn this. And if I say why, well, not sure. I just want to explore. And uh, the second challenge is the buzzwords, you know, digital, digital skills, AI. Uh, these are
Yeah.
all the buzzwords. I think that's what's actually trying to take away the attention of the learners
Right.
from the real learning experience to something that's focused purely on output, right?
Yes.
Why should I do this course? Oh, because I'm going to get that. But then your focus is not learning, your focus is just that output. And the problem there is, if you don't hit that output, you feel your learning has failed.
Yeah,
But fundamentally, learning has many outputs. It'll give you positive output, but not necessarily the one that you're insisting, because everybody's from a different situation, background, and their skills. And
definitely.
I think that's the
And
challenge I see in the industry right now.
how would you say that affects your business?
People don't make quick decisions. So we are not an organization which is driven by sales. So we are not pushy salespeople. So we
Yeah,
find that we made a point, we said what we do, and now it's your call. But the
yeah,
problem is, people don't take quick decisions, or they are, diverted by too many options around them. And then we find that over the period, uh, the hot leads, as they call in sales,
yeah,
cold. And even though the product is very powerful, it has delivered results for so many, it is still, you know needs to be sold. And that's something that I don't want to be doing, is trying to
yeah.
sell. I tell you what it is, and you decide if you want to buy. That's my way of working.
Yes, okay. And in that case, how do you go about finding clients that want to work with you? And how do you get that sort of intake, that uptake of the offering?
Uh, well, we preach what we teach. Digital marketing is our core. We go out, we have delivered free webinars, and these are knowledge-based webinars. These are not sales
Yeah,
type webinars, to more than 200 universities so far. So
right.
all
Oh,
throughout the COVID, we were busy delivering because everybody was available on their desks. So we have delivered so many webinars completely free,
right.
uh, and we still do that for so many educational institutions. So
Yes.
that's one of the ways we reach out to people. Um, and when it comes to our services division, lots of business networking happens for us to tell them what we do. And um, a bit like what you're doing, we try to connect and
Yeah,
build relationship by giving something first. So I would not see how I can sell this to you. I would rather see how I can help you. And then I would be genuine. I would be recommending things which I may not even be doing. But I would say, Rebecca, for your business, you really should be doing this. As I just said a few minutes ago, one of my customers who's got developed uh, their software product from us, now we know they're going to find investor. And I'm already looking out, oh, what are the options I can give to her? I have
yes,
profits, I have no cut in that, but my interest is how can I offer? And in any relation, if your intention is to give, I think business will happen.
definitely agree. If you can give value, then you're more likely to receive value back. I totally understand that. And how are
Absolutely.
you finding at the moment attracting new clients? Has that changed over the last year or so? Are you finding it more difficult, or are you getting the same kind of level of clients coming through?
I think we're finding it easier as we start adopting more smarter ways of giving our message out and trying to make our point. We have our customers who are interested in telling the world, how wonderful we are and what work we did. So we don't even have to request. They are saying, tell me, Sachin, how can I help you? And if I say, well, if you know someone, oh, of course, you don't have to tell me that. Um, if I come across someone, I already told them that this is something that you people are good at. So if they want to do it, they'll come to you. So I think, that's a fantastic position to be in.
Yes, so you would say that word of mouth referrals are really important to you and key to your business.
Absolutely. But the word of mouth, that word has to go out there on social media. So,
Right. Yeah.
uh, because say these days, Rebecca, you might know hundreds of people, but you won't necessarily go out and talk to those hundreds of people. So if you have an opinion, a good one for my business, then I would just say, if you can put it out there on your social media, and then that's how it kind of multiplies and scales.
Yes, of course. And do you have a sales and marketing team yourself um,
Yes.
to do this?
Yes, uh, we overall we are a team of about 35 people. So yes, we have um, marketing people, digital marketing team, which is set up separately, and uh, yeah, we have in-house developers, graphic developers, video editors, and so on.
Great. So you've got a really good team there. And what does your competitive landscape in your sector look like right now?
I think some of the things we're doing is pretty unique. And although, we are a UK brand, but we are present in about 37 countries, as I said,
Yeah.
uh, in those countries, nobody is doing what we are doing.
Right.
What we
Great.
what we're doing essentially is not just offering a course and say, okay, here's your certificate, and you do whatever with it you want to, right? We're
Yeah.
saying we will walk with you in that journey. So after they complete the course, we have internship style training programs where we groom them, and then we help them work with the UK companies for uh, an internship, remote internship. Everything is remote, by the way, right? And that's how they get an opportunity to showcase their skills. And my friends in the UK, they love it because the cost that they have to pay is absolutely like a cup of coffee. For that, they're getting a helping hand, um, mentored by LSDB's mentors. So these are not the
Right.
people, because I think the biggest problem is when you get students to work for you, you have a lot of overhead of managing them, training them, right? So
Yes.
we taken care of that, and we have our own mentors who would understand the work and get that done from the students. Of course, we only filter the students, and you have interviewed those students to be fit for your organization. I think this sort of a model is unique and isn't being offered. So I think, uh, and again, uh, that's something that we feel we have innovated.
I think it's a really really ingenious model actually. And I can see how it's so beneficial to the participants and to the employees as well. It's a really good way of structuring it. It's really unique and really interesting to hear about that. When it comes to your business, would you like to give some insights on your personal role within it and what your typical day might look like?
Right. I wear multiple hats as most entrepreneurs do. My title is director, but I have been moving away from being a manager to a leader. And
Right.
now my role is predominantly not only to focus on the external customers, but on the internal customers, the team, the partners, and that ecosystem. But they are the ones who are delivering our promise to the end customer. So that's one of my key roles now. And more about strategies, planning, and looking ahead 6 months, 1 year, and making sure that we are we have all the resources and everything that is required to achieve the goals that we have set for ourselves.
Fantastic. And is there anything that you'd like to change in your day-to-day role at the moment? If there's a way to either sort of relieve yourself of an area which perhaps isn't the best use of your time?
No, not really. I think I'm going through this constant transition, and um, I don't do anything that I don't like.
Great.
And most importantly, if I don't like something, then uh, I'm probably not good at it, and I won't do a good job of doing it. So it's not, if I have to do it, I will do it, but
Yeah.
then I have to find someone better than me to do it. Just a very good example. Uh, Now that a lot of my team, who's been with us for a good number of years, now from the team members, they're becoming managers and the leaders, and they're
Right.
involving themselves into strategies. Now, how do they become leaders? So they have to be given the training. Now, I found that one of my colleagues, he is experienced in HR for about 28 years.
Right.
He's the right person to take the leadership workshop than
Yeah.
I am. So I think then it should be him who is taking that workshop than me. I think
Sure.
it's more or less finding the right people, and more importantly, having uh, went through a lot of changes in my career. That my last company got bought, and I made some decent money. The reason I started off with London School of Digital Business is to make an impact. Uh, Hence, my focus is always on, am I making an impact? And then any task looks to me as important, and I don't feel there is anything that I don't want to do.
That's great. And obviously, being in that position is obviously driving you forwards to achieve your goals, which is fantastic. Could you tell me what the most important metrics are right now for your business to keep it growing in the direction you want it to go in?
Absolutely. The two uh, areas we measure, one is for the learners. What is the output they have received? So if they did a course, if they did internship, did they get placed in a company? Did they get the job they decide? Are they getting the opportunity to work with UK companies remotely? The second one, the businesses that take our digital marketing services.
Mhm.
Um, what is the output the customer is getting? So our measure is, if it is a lead generation campaign, are we generating leads for our customer?
Yes.
If it is a software, um, are we fitting into their budgets? So are we, if we have estimated 100 units of costs, how can we achieve it in 90 units and charge less to the customer, which is not many people would do, right? We would say, hey, sorry, we quoted £100, but here's your £10 back because we only completed in 90 units of efforts. So that's the kind of measure that we have.
Of course, obviously, it's really important to have that feedback from your customers so that if what you're providing is, actually helping them to move forwards in their roles. So that's vital. Looking to the future now, what are your business goals for the next 6 to 12 months?
We in 6 months we want to be in a position where we have rolled out all our plans that we have made so far, and in a year's time from now, we sure we will double our
Right.
revenues.
Fantastic. And what about further down the line, 2 to 3 years? Would you be looking for an exit, or is it more that you want to keep growing this long term?
uh no, because this is impact driven, I am not looking for an exit. In fact, we are now getting good grips. One of the challenges we had in the initial years is we were doing too much for our customers compared to what we are getting paid. So,
Right.
yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. But honestly, so we were making losses.
Okay.
So now I think we're gearing up, and I think we have lots to do. So I don't think we'll be looking for any exit in next 3 years or so.
Right.
But
And
we
to
do have, sorry to cut you off, but we do have um, investors, especially from education industry, who are interested in joining our hands, and they want to invest in us. So rather than liquidating the equity, we have come up with a model whereby they can be associated with us, they can earn profits from what we do, but we preserve our equity.
fantastic. And that sort of partly answers my next question, which was going to be, what have you implemented to try and reach your goals over the sort of the next 12 months? And also, have you tried things that haven't worked so well for you?
Yeah, so what we have been implementing is systems and processes, different sort of softwares we are adopting, different technologies that we are adopting. And I think for the second question, what has not worked for us? I would say in the initial years, nothing worked
Right.
because we were doing something that has not been done before, and we wanted absolutely practical education and not just sell courses.
Yeah.
So, but we failed for consecutive 4 years in
Right.
trying to make money, but in that process, we got a lot of university tie-ups and so on. So we build our assets, but not the revenues.
Right.
But we improvised every step. And now what we have is a perfectly working model without compromising our values.
Fantastic. So, and I guess with most startups, you go through that phase of trying and testing things, that some
Yes.
things stick, some things don't stick, and it does take time to build that machine, as it were. And you sound to me that you've got to a place now where that machine's working really well, which is great to hear.
Yeah.
And with the things that perhaps weren't working so well, how did you solve those problems? Was it just going through that process of trial and error and identifying things that needed to change?
Yes. Always being empathetic and trying to understand what my customer wants, and the students, what do they want, why are they not buying this,
Right.
so is it really a budget a challenge, and many a times budget wasn't a challenge. And I'll just give you one small example. um, One of our program included 21 modules, and which means they get 21 certificates. And it
Yeah.
was a fantastic, extremely thorough program, but it wasn't selling because it was add-on to the degree programs. And
Right.
students, they didn't buy, not because of the price, because it involved lot many hours which they didn't have, or they were
Right.
scared. How am
Yes,
I
of
going to
course.
complete 21 modules? So we realized the the content needs to be powerful, and like a small medicine tablet,
More
it,
concise.
yeah, it has to be powerful. So whatever you can say in 15 hours, you have to say that in 1 hour.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that's how we refined our modules and our content. And now we are extremely conscious that time is equally important. There's so many other factors that we learned on the way.
Definitely. And, it's great that you've sort of worked your way through those things and figured out what that target market needs, and like you say, students are so busy anyway, aren't they, with everything else they're doing. So
The
seeing
thing
that
we
what
did
needs.
with our customers, sorry, the other part of the business, which is services, right?
Yes.
We do not offer a standard pre-formatted digital marketing service or contract, right? We would just say, for your digital presence, whatever is required, we'll do it. And so one day you need a graphic to be created, you need a email to be sent, or bulk emails to be sent, somebody to handle your LinkedIn, somebody to do your, anything and everything that involves, even web page for that matter, somebody to write your content, right? So because we have a large team now, we are able to do anything and everything. And then based on every customer, we design, what the next week looks like for that customer and how
Right.
many hours. And we just do it on an hourly basis, the pricing. So, there is no long contracts or charging. And I
Right.
think that's again, what has worked.
Great. And is there anything, obviously, you've got that growth plan for the next 12 months. Is there anything else you think you'd like to look at improving to perhaps take that growth to the next level in the following 12 months?
Absolutely. Mobile app development. That's an
Right.
area we really want to focus, because we have absolutely amazing resources, and uh, people are still with their websites, and small businesses, they think mobile app is an expensive affair, and hey, they don't want to go for it. But I
Yeah.
think it might be too late if we leave it later than this year, because I think everybody, whether it is website or anything, everybody's accessing everything over their phones, including,
Yeah.
right, this interview that you are taking is on the phone, right? So we have to adopt to this new way of life, mobile
Yeah.
apps. So
Definitely.
we see that that's an area of business where we want to help entrepreneurs and companies to get on with this app development. Um, One is the need, and the second part is something that they can build on, give additional value to their customers as well.
Fantastic. And that, like you say, it's such an important thing. Nowadays, everyone on the phone and having that app to access things. I can definitely see how that could be key to your business. Um, Before we come to the conclusion of this call, is there anything else that you'd like to particularly share about your business, where people can find you, any events that you've got coming up, or anything like that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, lsdb.co.uk is our website, and there are events for learners as well as entrepreneurs. I think uh, one thing I would like to share with the people from business or senior executives, that if you have an idea, if you have experience, if you have lots of experience in any sector, right? You
Yeah.
definitely have an idea what is the problem that you can fix using a software that you would probably dream of developing, right? Um, we will, and traditionally we think, well, software development, it's an expensive affair, lots of funds required, and maybe whether I should apply for government funding and so on and so forth, right? um, we can get you on that track really quick, because we have a development center back in India as well. And
Right.
as we have presence in 37 countries, we can help you market your product in all those countries as well. And we have resources in the places like Malaysia and other places we have partners. So if you have an idea to develop a software or an app,
Yeah.
get in touch, and let's see how we can work together.
Fantastic, and I really hope that people hear that message, and I'm glad that we've been able to share your business on this platform, and let people know that you're out there. And it's been really, really good hearing your insights. And thank you ever so much for sharing sort of your knowledge in the area and of how your business is growing. And I really wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was wonderful talking to this audience, and well, looking forward to some connections and probably some conversations. And
Definitely,
in any way I can help anyone, yeah, I think the time is worth spent. It's a
definitely.
wonderful platform, and what you're doing, Rebecca, is amazing. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much. It's been great having you here. Goodbye.
Bye bye.